back to FreepCast. My name is Robb Murray. I'm your host. I'm here with managing editor Joe Spear, who I was just informed is going to be at the State Fair this year.
Absolutely. State Fair time. I love going to the State Fair. And I want to let people know they can see me at the Minnesota Newspaper Museum. It's really a cool place in the food building, and I have signed on. They have editors around the state sign on for a period of time just to be there, answer questions about journalism, newspapers, anything people want to know about. So I will be there Wednesday, the 27th, from 8:30 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon. Stop by and see us. The museum is really cool. They have a working linotype press with a guy who knows how to run it. This is hot lead, right? You make the letters out of hot lead and put them on a sheet, and it's pretty amazing. And then they also have a sheet-fed press where they make posters, big posters that are multicolored, and they're the First Amendment, written out the First Amendment, and they give those away for free. So that's cool. And they've got little stamp things that your kids can try for printing, and they'll give you some printed cards and stuff like that. It's really, I think, undersold and flies under the radar for cool things to do at the fair that is free. And then you also get to learn the history of newspapers. And they have, in Minnesota, and they have usually have a video screen up with many of the states' front pages displayed on them. So you can kind of see what the front page was in Wilmer, what the front page was in Duluth. And yeah, it's really cool. So a plug for that.
If you haven't seen the linotype in action before, too, that's pretty...
It's pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing how that whoever came up with that system.
People had to put letters on a row of type, a line of type.
Yep.
And they have to do it backwards, right?
Yes.
So, you're looking at it. So the skill involved in that with words, I mean, we have enough trouble with spell check, right?
Yes, we do. Do you get a cheese curd break at some point to
yes,
go?
I'm certain I'll have a little lunch break. But I've just been reviewing many of the foods. The Star Tribune has a really cool story today about 80 different foods they tried, and they rated all of them 1 star to 4 stars. So I'm going to be looking at that.
What's your go-to?
Standard
food?
I like the sausages and like the Kmarzik sausages, and I do go to Giggles, which is the place. Guy from the North End runs it. They call them Giggles, but it's that big on the north end of the fair. It's the big log cabin place, and they've got a big entertainment area in back with all the craft beers. In Minnesota, there must be 40, 50 craft beers, and they have really great seafood. They have walleye cakes. They got walleye fingers. You used to be able to get little sunfish pennies or coins, they call them, and really good food and really good drinks. So I do go to Giggles a lot. But I like the bison. I've tried the bison sandwiches out there. It's pretty good. Looks like they got a good bison meatball sandwich this year.
It's nice to see the fair came around to having a decent craft beer presence.
Oh, yeah. And then there's the hangar. That's the other area where you get a lot of craft beers. And, Mankato Brewery had beers up there.
Yeah, they had their cake batter
that was
beer.
The big popular thing for my wife, the cake batter beer, because it's beer that doesn't taste like beer. And that's what she likes. But we should mention our sponsor before we get too far into this. This podcast is sponsored by Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union, happily serving those who live, work, or do business in Blue Earth, Nicollet, LeSueur, Waseca, Brown, or Watonwan counties since 1934. Thanks to Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union. Nick and his folks down there do a great job supporting local journalism, which is in need of support, and we appreciate it. But a lot of news, and of course, sometimes the smallest news brings the most discussion. The assault at College Town.
Yes.
Apartments over the weekend. Of course, it comes to our attention via a video on Facebook, and it gets shared. I believe Casey shared it on our newsroom site, and so we look at it, and if you ever watched an assault, it's not fun. And this one was not. It was taped, and it was a number of people. They've got somebody on the ground, and they're kicking and kind of going crazy. And then a guy comes out with a baseball bat, and he starts whacking the guy on the back with the baseball bat. And it's not fun to look at, and it's a little unsettling, I think, for most people in Mankato who don't see that thing regularly anywhere.
I think that's the word for this kind of thing. I felt the same way when I watched it. Like you don't feel good watching people do that to each other.
Yeah,
in our community or wherever else. It's just never.
I mean,
a
you
good thing.
could say a bar fight, one guy against the other, but when people gang up, that's really unsettling and reeks of gang violence and threatens your sense of public safety. So we're trying
It's even worse, I think, when you see people standing around cheering on, or worse, pull their phone out and start recording it.
That's worse. Although in this case, who knows? This person maybe was pulling out their phone to show people the horror, which I'm kind of thinking. And this came through Mankato Man, our guy online, but he gets fed a lot of videos, as you mentioned. So anyway, it's a weekend story. I'm calling the Weekend Reporter saying, hey, look at this video. Let's call the police, see if we can get something on this. What we're looking for at this point is what's called an incident report, which is a public record, and it's in statute. I believe it's 13.82 subdivision 6. I can cite it because we've had to cite it so often.
Well done. That's very impressive, Joe.
Which says
Citing statutes.
Here's the thing when there's a police incident, what they must give you, and it's almost immediately they must give you officers involved, if there was a gun involved, if there was a chase, if there were witnesses and victims and who they were, and a brief reconstruction of the event. It's supposed to have like a little narrative.
Which is usually the part that is left off.
Yeah. People were partying at college. I don't know that to be the case, but if that was the case, you need a narrative. How did this happen? And so we were told we were going to get a press release, but they had no idea when. So we waited. Sunday, nothing. Monday, we finally called Mankato City, and we were calling Blue Earth County and the dispatch, I think, on the weekends. So Blue Earth County does dispatch for Mankato. So whoever's on, we just want to hear from you about this incident. And so we eventually got a one paragraph thing from the city of Mankato saying, basically there was an assault at College Town, and they're investigating. There were some injuries, but they were non-life threatening, and that was about it. And I think we should have posted the video with our story, but I don't think we did. So that would at least show something, what's going on here, what we're concerned about.
Yeah.
And I heard from a citizen who was appalled, but that was what the city was giving out at this point. And, there was no indication that is the public still at risk? Was this person apprehended, going around with a baseball bat, assaulting people? So a lot of questions to be asked. To their credit, I did talk to the city communications guy, and he kind of conceded they couldn't give enough. They didn't give enough, and maybe it wasn't clear. So hopefully we can follow up and get more details on this. But it's just those little things that you hope you can get out there and clear the air and get some information on. So
yeah, when I saw what we were given about that incident, I think Kathy Voss, one of our news editors, told me what was given out, and my response was unacceptable, because what I saw and what I've heard people talking about and what they told us from the official report, woefully inadequate.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shocked, actually, that they didn't give us anything else on that.
Yeah.
But if you say they responded and said they should have done better, I guess it's all we can hope for, I suppose.
Hopefully we can follow up and get more of a detailed report, and if anyone was cited or is on the loose, or, they said they were talking to College Town people. Somebody was referencing, is College Town the one that has a gate?
I don't know about it.
Casey's
we
yes.
We have Casey here, our producer.
And they took down the gate because people kept breaking it or whatever. I remember seeing those apartments when they first built them, and I thought, wow, a gate in a college, apartments place.
It's a popular place. They also have that concert every year.
Blue Earth Blackout.
Yeah,
Is that where that is from?
I'm not sure if that's the one, but they do have one every year.
Okay.
That I've seen social media clips from for years, which is fine. But I will say this: for the last 10 years or so, I've heard stuff happening there, and I'm wondering if it's worth a closer look at what's going on.
And we can get the incident reports.
What do you think is going? What goes through the mind of law enforcement when they don't want to tell us more than?
I don't know if it's intentional. I think it's probably just we've got a lot of stuff to do, and maybe they don't put a high priority on it. It seems like Paul David, the communications guy at the City of Mankato, often has discussions with their internal staff. We know when Amy was the chief of police,
Amy Buchel.
he often got back to them and said, "Here's what the media needs. Here's what we need to be doing. We need to be proactive." So it could be one of those things that's hard to change the culture, but and we do all we can to say it's important. It's important. The public says it's important. Public is part of public safety. So I don't know if it's intentional. It may be just one of those things that they don't consider a high priority of all the things they have to do in this case. And you know how weekend work goes. People don't. There's lower staff, and they don't have the communications guy on weekend.
Sure.
But you covered cops for a long time. What do you think?
I think it really depends on the department. If they're used to dealing with the media, they're a lot better at it.
Yeah.
If it's a small town that gets a reporter in their lobby, twice a year,
yeah,
they're not. They don't feel any need to go the extra mile for us.
And that's a great lead-in to a story I want to bring up. The last story our intern Owen McDonald did on the St. Peter Police Department and the officer that was involved in a crash. We found out about it, and we decided we'd give Owen every chance to learn the nuances of doing a story like that and all the barriers that will go up, all the challenges that there will be. And he did a great job. We published the story in the past week or so, but speaking of a smaller town that probably doesn't deal with media a lot, St. Peter is the case. Todd Prafke, the city administrator, was very helpful once he knew what we wanted and gave us the public information on the officer and if they were reprimanded for this. And they were given a 1-day suspension, and they were charged with a petty misdemeanor, I believe, because she obviously didn't look and smashed into somebody, T-boned somebody. Luckily, there were no injuries. She blew through a stop sign, and no lights on or anything like this. And Owen did a good job talking to the victim who wanted to, talk about it. And then we pursued the, response from the police chief and the city and everybody we could. And so Owen learned people don't always have to talk to you, and they don't want to talk to you about certain things.
It was a really good learning story for him because he dealt with the St. Peter Police. He had to deal with the state patrol, dealt with a victim. He had to wait.
Yes.
He didn't get everything right away.
We had to request the report, the official report.
He got a little frustrated.
And they said they couldn't give it to us till they're done, and that's mostly true. And then we requested a dash cam video as well, and we did get that.
Which you can see on our website.
It's
pretty interesting.
It is, and it was a good story, well reported. Everybody had a chance to say something. It took a while, though. Yeah, it's one of those things where you just got to keep plugging away at it, and as a journalist, you don't want to let those things fall off your radar because it was a good story. I mean, not earth-shattering, egregious things this officer was doing. They just got careless with their driving, and important to do that story and show that report and get the facts. Right. So it was a nice job by Owen, and I think he's going to be the video manager for the U of M Daily.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he likes video. He's going to pursue that. So it was great to have him this summer.
Yep.
Just a lot of other kind of local news things that were not of worth talking about a lot, but interesting. If you don't subscribe to the paper, here's the stuff you miss every week. Retired Mankato Doc Steve Pencas, 80 years old, finished first in the National Cycling Championships with the Senior Games. Cool. We seem to be having a lot of motorcycle accidents this year for some reason.
I did notice that.
Motorcyclist killed and crashed near Minnetonka Falls. It seems like he was on the road and they had to lift him out. I think he fell down the falls somehow. Interesting life remembered on the shop teacher at who worked at Loyola, and Alvin Moore, I believe his name was. Influential industrial arts educator. Industrial arts people don't get the limelight much.
I was just going to say, he was a shop teacher.
Yeah. Did you take shop?
I had one class in shop. It wasn't a true like wood shop class. It was electronics, but that was my one.
Yeah,
into the shop world.
My dad was in the construction industry, so I was kind of schooled in how to pound nails and using power tools when I was 8 years old and that sort of thing. And I had wood shop and I had metal shop. I had probably a couple wood shops, and your senior project was to make a piece of furniture. And so I made an end table, a uniquely designed end table with glass top, and I still have it today.
Where is it in your home?
It's in my house.
Nice.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Does your wife like it?
She does.
Okay.
She hasn't, well, at least in 37 years, she hasn't suggested we throw it out.
Okay.
But then we made little watering cans and metal shop, and Mr. Manahan was our teacher, shop teacher for me and my two buddies in senior year. They even built model homes. I mean, like constructed models, not real homes, and he got us a summer job working for a construction company in New Prague, me and my two buddies, and it was traveling, building homes in Iowa and different places. And the guy was kind of sketchy. We never got paid. So after 3 weeks, I quit and had to take him to conciliation court to get my $300. So it was a very learning experience.
Was that your first taste of the court system?
Yes, officially.
We should dig in. There's probably an underage consumption charge there somewhere.
No. I was never dumb enough to get caught. But construction, and we were building these houses in Iowa, and we were on a deck, and his son, kind of ran the crews, and we stayed in hotels and everything and drank beer at night. But one of the decks collapsed when we were on it, and luckily nobody was hurt, but because it was only like an 8-foot high deck or whatever. But we knew it wasn't quite right, so we got out of that job. But chalked up to experience. Mankato guy who was involved in that murder, I think it was last December, got 30 years. It was that one where they were shot. It was like in a car, and they were shot near the courthouse, and then the car drove down to Grove Street, I think, over there by Bethlehem Church, and the guy died there. And I think Brian interviewed his widow about the whole situation, and he wasn't a drug dealer and stuff like that. But that guy got 30 years. Cool new business, tailor-made haircut place that brings sensory-friendly hair care to Mankato.
Oh.
So you have autism. The guy who runs it, kind of on the autism spectrum, he says himself. So they try to be sensitive, and I think they do ethnic hair as well. Another life remembered, former Mankato banker Norb Harrington. Many people knew Norb. He was a big booster at MSU. I knew him when I started writing business when I first came here. Always a real welcoming guy, always understood the press, always tried to give you as much information as possible. And a great, the story was, I think MSU was just getting started in their Division I program, and they needed money for sticks. And Norb coughed up money for sticks for everybody. So that's kind of a cool story. Speaking of hockey, Grand Seasons, All Seasons Arena, a month away from opening, finally got that project done.
Looks nice in there.
$14 million. It does look nice. It looks
much improved, much needed.
Yeah. I think parking might still be an issue, but maybe they'll work on that. That's a long time. Hopefully there will be a little opening up of ice times, and kids won't have to practice at midnight. Um, Speaking of kids, Hoffman Center, place that works with troubled teens, mental illness, various things, in trouble because of federal and state budget cuts, going to lose $50,000 a month. That was a big story we had. Ethan did that story for us. Important to know that the impact of these budget cuts is affecting old and young, everybody in between.
That's a tough one. I mean, given the kind of work they do there.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, the manager was saying, I guess they just think we can do things more efficiently, and I guess you can. In human services, it's kind of tough, I think, but
I mean, they're dealing with kids.
yeah, very troubled kids too.
They're trying to help and rehabilitate troubled kids.
Yeah.
What's more important than that?
Yeah. I always wish in the budgeting process they would put a number on what happens if you don't give that help and how much does it cost. I think people would be amazed.
I would think that would just be standard practice for a lot of this stuff. But
yeah, some of it is. I think some of it people do lay things out like that and how many need help and how many they're serving. But there's already a shortage of these kind of places. And, I think if you have a mental health breakdown, you still have to wait for an opening or get sent somewhere far away to get diagnosed and have housing and have treatment. So still working on that. On a sports note, this doesn't happen that often, I don't think. East Girls Soccer win over Red Wing 14-1. That's not a soccer score.
Wow.
14-1 yesterday. Or it was in today's paper.
Could be a Canadian football score.
It's a soccer score. And get this, I don't know, maybe Red Wing is just terrible, but East Girls are pretty good. Senior forward Taylor Schilling proved to be a dominating force, got 6 of the 14 goals.
Wow.
That is...
What other sport is she in that we've had her at the paper in quite a bit?
I'm not sure. Is she a basketball player?
I think she's a standout athlete generally.
She started the game with a natural hat trick.
Nice.
And for those who don't know what a natural hat trick is, you get 3 goals in a row. No one scores in between you, right? Natural is a hockey term, soccer term.
Did the fans throw their hats on the field?
There was no report about that.
Like they do at hockey games?
They probably should have. Amazing story, though. And then sophomore Lena Peterson, just a sophomore, she got 4 goals. And if you read our new sports reporter, Mitch's report on this, it's a very entertaining report for a sports. I think he mentioned Schilling moved like a scalding knife through butter.
Mitch has got a nice way with words.
We gotta get that out there a little bit. This is fun reading
he's
fun
a lively,
sports like that.
He does lively reporting.
I like it. So interesting sports. We'll have to watch that team and all the teams this year. I think we're starting up our athlete of the week again next week probably, or the week after. But I'm guessing Taylor would be a nominee for that.
I would imagine at some point.
Finally, good story by Casey on Sunday about a new kind of way to worship on Sunday, and involves being outdoors and recognizing the power and the vastness of the earth around us, and kind of a meditative place. They met at Bluff Park. They go to parks and meet, and it's everyone's in a circle. So the pastor isn't up, down. Everyone shares their ideas, and it's a nice story because we don't write about religion much in our paper, I don't think, and we probably should do more because it matters to people. But I thought, getting toward the quote of the week here, I thought this was interesting. There's a common practice. The other is a less common practice of talking about different practices of re-earthing, which involves participants applying mud on various parts of their bodies. The latter practice, Burr said, is a reminder to participants that they are part of the earth. Additionally, the mudding practice serves as a counterbalance to purity rituals ubiquitous throughout most religious traditions, including Christianity. quote from Reverend Amy Jo Burr. Touching the mud is a reminder that God longs to give us freedom from law and to set us free to love one another and to love God, Burr said. We don't have to be clean all the time. I like it.
It's good.
I like it. I think we're going to wrap it up a little bit here. Want to remind people how to subscribe and get this great journalism. You can call 625-3764 and just say, send me the paper, put me on the list, get me the online edition. Reader service at mankatofreepress.com, or you can just go to our website at the top and subscribe. You can do it online. If you have any trouble whatsoever, you can call our reader service and they will help you, guaranteed. And many people don't know, I was speaking to a group yesterday, and many people don't know that if you get the home delivered paper, the online edition is free of charge. You just have to call us up and get an account. And you can take that, your Snowbird, you can look at it when you don't have the paper in front of you on your phone. Anywhere you can get it, we'll have the news there. Also want to mention our partner, SPX Sports, for photo reprints. 345-7196. You can also go to their website, our website, get photo reprints. But that's about all I have.
One last thing. I'll just add that the Pets issue of Mankato Magazine is coming out in October, and right now is the time to submit pictures of your cat, dog, parrot, turtle, guinea pig, hamster, whatever you got. Send it into me, actually, R. Murray, Murray, at mankatofreepress.com by September 1st.
So that's coming up week and 10 days away.
Yep.
So get those photos going, and don't send hard copies, send digital copies.
We're not doing hard copies. Every year we get a few, and, we figure it out, but we're trying to get away from that entirely if we can. It makes the process 10 times.
So the pictures, the cell phone pictures work usually fine?
Cell phone pictures are fine. They're almost always high enough resolution for us to use in the magazine. In fact, I would guess that almost all the photos we get are shot from a phone.
Well, some of the phones are pretty good cameras now.
Yep.
So
get them in.
All right. That sounds good. Thanks for listening, folks, and we'll see